guys, what is up? Welcome to the channel. Behind me is my parts dart. I'm just going to do a quick brief video. I've been watching Randy over at Auto Auctions Rebuilds, and he is working on his own dart, and I figured I'd make a quick video on how I pulled the motor out of my dart. Hopefully that helps him out a little bit, because it's not complicated, but it is a pain in the butt. So let's uncover this. It is kind of raining out today here in Massachusetts, but let me show you what I did. I had the core support and the nose all off the car because it had gotten whacked. Frame rail is bent pretty good here. So that's the first thing you have to do if you're going to pull the motor out this way towards you. It can be done. It's difficult. I would have preferred to have dropped the subframe. That would have been a lot quicker. However, given my driveway, my shop's all the way up there, I needed this to coast down here, so when I do finally scrap it, it's easier to get on a trailer. That being said, these are the two fuel lines you have to disconnect. They have a clip that holds them in place on the back of the motor. There's a rubber line that sits on there, and the clip pins it in place. Hopefully the camera picks up on that. These are the two heater core lines as well that you'll have to disconnect. This one has like a C-clip that goes into it, and then this guy is just this push style clip here. You have this harness that has to come off of the ECU or ECM. Mine was pretty corroded on there. I actually ended up, unfortunately, I broke it getting it off, which sucks, but it is what it is. This is the lower transmission mount. You'll have to disconnect this. Be careful doing this because the engine will tip. You have the passenger side mount that's got 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, that holds it to the frame rail of the car. And you have the transmission, you have the transmission mount on the passenger side, the driver's side of the car, with 3 mounts, with 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3. I believe they're 15mm bolts. You'll also have to disconnect if it's an automatic, I'm not sure on how the standard connects. My cars were both automatics. There's 2 bolts that hold this cable to the top of the transmission, and then this guy just kind of pops off. The other thing you'll also need to do is these front frame rails here, they come off, and you'll wanna pop those out because things get hung up on them. That's what I found. So it takes a couple minutes just to get them out. Not a big deal. Obviously, I've pulled the CVs. This one is long. There's on the back side of the motor, there's a set of 3, I think they're 13mm bolts that holds this one in. This one comes out fairly easy. This side is a little more difficult. You kind of have to pry it out to get it out, and I ended up just kind of tucking it out of the way to get it out when I pulled the engine out of this car. These are there's some harnesses over here you have to disconnect and get out of the way, and you'll have to pull the coolant recovery tank. It's 100% doable doing it this way. If I had a lift, it would have been a lot easier, and I definitely would have dropped the whole package or whole unit, whole assembly as a package. So it definitely can come out this way. I use my front end loader to kind of pick it up and move it and sit it on a pallet. So it was, it's the way I was able to do it. So hopefully this helps somebody, working on their own dart if they want to pull their engine. I pulled it as a package. I didn't try to disconnect the transmission from the engine. So one thing to note when you do pull it out, if you pull it out the front way here, unfortunately the way I did it, I put a small crack in the plastic transmission pan. It caught on the frame rail coming out. The engine twisted. There's not really a good way on that package to chain it. I didn't find a very good way to chain the engine and the transmission to whether it be an engine hoist or in this case it was the bucket on my front end loader. So a couple of things to keep in mind as you go to do that. That's what I experienced, and that's what I learned. All right, this is the back side of the 2.0. These are the fuel lines that go up against the fuel firewall. You see, this is the type of clip that's in them, and all you're really going to do is take a small flat blade and pop them up, push down, pull it back, I believe is how I did it. This is the 3rd transmission center mount. It goes into that U-shaped bracket on the car. Bolt goes through it. Pretty easy to get off, not too bad. All right, looking on, this would be the driver's side of the motor. So this is the transmission mount. If you were to look through here, this is one of the heater core hoses. This is the one that has the push-in clip. And then this guy back here goes, the rubber line in the car goes over it. There's a lip here, and that's where the C-clip like attachment or clamp that goes on it. There's, you know, some miscellaneous connectors here that need to be disconnected. You know, overall it's fairly straightforward to get this engine out. Like I said, there's no real good mount point to kind of pull this engine out like I did. I just kind of had to rig up some chains on the bucket loader or the front end loader or on the tractor, and pull it out. So it took me probably a good half a day to figure out how to get this motor out. So I'm hoping this video helps anybody who's doing a motor on a 2.0 Dart, and you know, hopefully these tips kind of give you some insight as to what's involved. Guys, remember, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe below, turn on your post notifications, and you can also follow me along on social media.